So I want you to ask yourself this question. It's a really simple question. What do you want? And why the f are you not doing it? And you have to take responsibility to actually step into your power and step into the highest value that you provide to the world and do the things that you love. Let's just call it out. Let's just say what we're not great at. It's okay. Welcome to the best version of yourself.
This is like.
Past the pancake.
What?
Oh, bless your heart. That's okay. Getting in the DeLorean.
We are on our way to Dr. Justin Mosley's mastermind. I'm actually a part of his mastermind. Myself, Mike Zeller, and Justin Mosley are hosting The Bridge. And it's really, the big idea is bridging the gap between where you are today and where you want to be. And we know that challenge is solved through changing our perspectives on the things that we believe that are true. And so a lot of times it's foundationally getting underneath our story and then changing and unlocking our perspectives to be quite different so that we can experience a certain level of breakthrough in our life. So we're here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, which is just south of Denver. We're going up to Indian Hills, which is by Evergreen. It's a really, really beautiful spot. It's about 25 minutes away, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The idea of the bridge is to take you from where you're at today and to get you to where you want to be. And there's a lot of, different things that someone could do if they wanted to grow in their business or in their personal life or whatever. But I think it always comes down to this. It's the 6 inches between your ears, and it's the focus on high performance of like, what are the specific steps? What are small steps, big steps, whatever steps that I need to take in order to get to the level or the place of where I want to be? And that's what we really do, is we create the space and helping people break through their money mindset barriers, to help people break through their relational barriers, and really just to give themselves permission to be the best versions of who they are. And it's amazing. What you put in is what you get out, and we just create a great space for people to do that. And I can't wait for you guys to see some really incredible testimonials about the breakthrough that so many people have had with the bridge.
I had no idea these things had that kind of horsepower.
Oh yeah, and it's straight. So it's just like, it's straight 800 horsepower, like with no drivetrain. So it's just boom, immediate, instant.
Stall, waiting for the gas to get in there.
Nothing until it'll be done. Yeah. Oh. I thought Courtney would be in here listening to Justin Bieber. She loves her JB. Oh, good. What's up? How you doing, man? Good. Did you run out and grab some coffee?
Oh, I made some.
Oh, good. Oh, nice. Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm the same way. I'm like,
I love to
just
go
get
out
some.
and get the scenery.
oh yeah, man. Did you get up to the hill yet? Did you see over Denver? Yeah, exactly.
Is that where it's at?
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, those houses.
Yep.
Yep. That's sick, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful up there. It's really cool. Oh, the creation is an amazing thing.
See?
Oh my God, guys, look behind you. The most amount of transformation for people happens in the context of alternate spaces. And that's what I love about this place right now. This place is epic. It's 13,000 square feet. I mean, look at this view behind me. This is absolutely unbelievable. A deer is like literally walking by right now as we're talking. And what's really cool is that it gives us the ability to just see things differently. And I don't know, it reminds me of that quote from Steve Jobs that talks about thinking different. And when you can change your environment, you can also change your story. And when you can change your story, you can change your value system, your belief system, and every single action that you take in your life. So we're here, we're having a mastermind with about 15 different people. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm so pumped to be here. So today I'm going to be sharing some kind of like hot off the press new strategies on personal brand. One thing that I've committed to and that I know that I'm going to probably be one of the biggest influencers on the planet with is personal brands. I think the future is in personal brands. I know that the future is personal brands. I know that the people who invest in their personal brand over the next, even the next 90 days, 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, it's the unfair advantage that you're gonna have in the next 3 to 5 years is like absolutely massive. And so when I see people building businesses or building other people's businesses and not their own personal brand, I'm just like, they're missing the mark. But I feel like in the current state, there's a certain element of just not knowing. There's like a lack of understanding that that's what needs to happen. And that's why I'm so passionate about solving the problem. Like, I've always been a disruptor. I've always been an early adopter. I've always been the person who's like just 2, 3, 5, 10 steps ahead of everybody else when it comes to things in marketing. And I know that specifically in the personal branding space, that it's going to be the thing. I mean, it already is the thing for people who see it. But for those who don't, like the growth curve is going to be tremendous if they don't get on it early. So everything I'm going to teach you today around personal brand is really powerful. And the reason why I picked personal brand for me came down to the idea that like people don't want to buy from companies, people want to buy from people. Let's write that down because it's a really strong thing I want you to remember. People do not buy from companies, people buy from people. In a personal brand, people buy you, period. That's it, they're buying you. The cool thing about that is if you like launch a sneaker line, they're gonna buy your shoes too. And they'll buy your t-shirts. And whatever you do, that's the benefit, is like you can morph and adapt. One of the things I love about Michael Jordan the most is that when he played baseball, now here's the deal. I thought he was a complete idiot at the time for doing it. So I'm like, you're ruining your legacy because you're trying to transition to a bigger sport. And I thought it was an ego play. And then what I realized, it wasn't that at all. He just loved challenging himself, and it was a sport that he really loved. So like he said, why not? And I'll give it a shot and we'll see what happens. I think that's actually a very like incredible thing for someone to do. So like, imagine pivoting industries right now. Like that would be hard, but there might be something that you really want to do. And the difference is that right now, I think there's an opportunity to do that and to be very successful in doing that. If you're following your intention and you're following your intuition and you actually know that it's something that's next for you and that's right for you. And so that's what I did with coaching. I just made a decision that I'm going to go all in on coaching. And the reason why for me is just because like, what the fuck do I have to lose? Like the idea is like, what do I have to gain? And for me, that was the aha moment. It's like, I can actually live the life I want to live. I can do what I know I'm called to. And I felt like there was like this invisible force field around everything that I was trying to do that was not coaching. Coaching is effortless, it's easy, it's celebrated. And most people are like, that is like your superpower, and I know that. But the minute that I start trying to do done for you services or like try to earn revenue off of agency services, it's just like, gag me. It's just, I can't, I don't want to do it. And so I don't show up in the same capacity either. So it's an injustice to myself, to my calling, to what I know I'm supposed to do, and also to the people that I'm serving in that capacity as well. Let me let you guys in on a dirty secret you probably don't know. Well, it's not really a dirty secret, it's just funny because you won't expect it. I didn't start working with entrepreneurs in this capacity till December, 6 months ago. 6 months ago. I haven't been doing this for like a lifetime. 6 months ago. So I had a treasure trove of knowledge, and I'm going like, God, what do you want me to do when I'm frustrated and I can't figure it out? He's like, pastor entrepreneurs. I'm like, oh man, that's brutal. Because I don't like the first word and I definitely like the second word, and you're putting them together. He's like, yeah, that's the point. So I was like, okay, so I guess that's what I have to do. And we closed 35 people into coaching programs in 35 days by following this exact process. So it works. And that was our original groups 1, 2, and 3 in MentorMind. And they were incredible. The most amount of transformation, people are like, they have no context of like spiritual transformation, a lot of them. So you get them into a room that opens the container for transformation to happen, and it's just the same process over and over. So this applies to your live event, this applies to your workshop, this applies to anything that you're doing in content creation, it applies to the whole damn thing. because you can't separate your personal brand from you. So the seventh step in the process of building your personal brand is focused on partnerships. And Dr. Justin Mosley and I, we talked about 2.5 years ago now. He was a client of mine when I had an agency, and you know, he mentioned, I actually recall this, it's so crazy. It was on our second call, and he said, I'm down to do this with you and have you do done for you services in this agency model. He's like, but I gotta tell you, like, I really believe we're gonna do something that's so much better, so much greater, so much different. And I mean, that's going back 2.5 years. Like, I wasn't even doing this 2.5 years ago, you know? Took them from 0 to 3 million in 18 months. Then after that, I started working on accident. I worked actually with a doctor who used to intern with Flynn way back in the day, and I had no idea. And that was the first time I started to work with doctors, and then just started working within the community, and that's how I met Justin and Courtney, and then helped them become very prominent figures in their community on the personal brand side. And that's where it also unlocked for me that, like, doctor means teacher, and really you're an influencer, which means you're a personal brand. Can we all agree on that today? All right, you guys know that people come to you for you and not your logo and not your business. Okay. And so partnerships are really, really important in order to get to the point of where you're generating the amount of revenue that you want. They're critically important, and they really actually create typically half of the revenue that a personal brand generates is through the partnerships that are developed, through the relationships and through the shared experiences that you can create. So it kind of brings me back to that point 2.5 years ago of Justin saying, I know that we're going to do something different. What's wild is that I knew the same thing. There was a connectivity, there was there was a chemistry there where we knew we would impact the world uniquely. And so that's really why I wanted to do this. Partnering with other people on experiences is probably my most favorite thing to do outside of my own experiences themselves. And there's 2 reasons why. Justin was a part of Mentor Mind, and to see him be successful is truly like my greatest joy, to see other people win. That's number 1. And number 2, in order to be part of their success, I understand that partnership is a required process. And so being able to partner with him on this is really of the highest honor. For someone to go through your programs and in order to experience what you do and to be able to see everything behind the scenes, all the nitty gritty and all the good and all the bad and whatever it is, whatever meaning you want to assign to it, it's just life and it's just business and it just is what it is. But in order for Justin to ask me to be a part of this was absolutely an honor. And I didn't even think twice about saying yes. Transformation comes through relationship, not through an online course experience. It doesn't. So those 3 things are always required. What am I teaching them? How am I holding them accountable to their own success in the process? And life and business are a mirror. All right. How many of you guys believe that there's things that show up in your business that you also struggle with personally? Okay. That's the definition of, like, the personal brand. Because you can't, like, put the work hat on and here I am, and then, like, go over here and you're 2 separate people. You're the same person, right? Skills, accountability, mentorship. Inside of this process, if you do this process correctly, like, there's no way that people will not have a high experience. You have all the Google reviews you want, okay? All right, cool. So that's why I love to be here, to support the people who are in need and also to offer the angle that's correct for them. Mindset plus marketing can equal, like, quantum steps in your business. And so he's handling the mindset part with Mike Zeller. I'm handling the marketing side. And I think with those elements combined, you can have absolutely catalytic change in your business. Fell out of college twice for marketing, which is hilarious, but we'll talk about that in a minute. At 19 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I went and worked for a nonprofit, which was a church. There's about 1,000 people who attended the church. So it was a larger church, but they were just kind of getting started. And over the next 5 years, I helped lead that church from 1,000 to 10,000 people. And I say that not for the numbers because that's what destroyed it, but wrong focus, but for the impact. And for the marketing, because you think about, if you're running live events every weekend, plus midweek services, I've hosted over 1,000 live events, 1,000. So it's really cool when it comes to these environments. I love one-on-one and group environments more than the stage. I just do. But at the end of the day, like, I knew a lot more about marketing than I thought I did. So let me just help you guys. You probably know a lot more about this stuff than you think you do. Please give yourself permission. This is one of those like, I gotta be a guru to figure all of the marketing stuff out. No, you don't. You just need strong people around you who can help identify certain things, but you already have so much potential in you, and my goal is to help show you that that's true today, all right? One other element that we're gonna talk through today is a mindset principle that lends itself very, very well towards personal brands. And that's really surrounding the idea of your zone of genius. And I know you've probably heard that term before and whatever, but you have to understand that like, the thesis on this is that you should not be doing shit you hate for people who don't give a fuck. You've probably heard me say that before, but it's true. That's the big idea. And I'll tell you, every single time that I've done this exercise with people, it really unlocks their human spirit of where they go like, oh, it feels so empowering to know what I'm really amazing at, because if I just come out and ask them, usually they can't answer the question. But when I take them through this exercise, it's the process of elimination. It's getting all the things out that they're really not great at and really centralizing on the big idea and the thing that they should be doing. So there's two concepts that I'm going to show you guys today. The first one that we're going to talk about, you can call it zone of genius. I call it stop doing shit you hate for people who don't give a fuck. So sorry about the verbiage, but that's the idea. And it really is, because at the end of the day, you have a superpower. So if you don't use it, then you're actually stealing from people who you are called to give to. And you're doing yourself an injustice as well. So when I make this statement, stop doing shit you hate for people who don't give a fuck, it's actually a framework. I think you probably might have just thought it was a zinger. It's a zinger, but it's also a framework that I really truly believe in, and I try to live out inside of my life every single day, which is, what are the things that you're procrastinating on right now? What are the things that you have on your plate that are actually like just driving you crazy, that you don't want to do, that you have no joy doing, things that you feel like, man, I should have given this up a long time ago to somebody else. The reality is that a lot of times we fill up our plate with things that just are maybe urgent and important, maybe someone else's priority, but they're not really the things that are going to allow us to get to the destination that we have in mind. And so I go through the 4-box framework showing people, identify the things that you absolutely hate doing and you suck at. Like, let's just call it out. Let's just say what we're not great at. It's okay. We want to lean into our superpower, and guess what? The world's really good at telling us what we're not good at. So like, these things are easy to identify, but when I take you through the process of the things that you don't love doing, that you absolutely suck at, all the way through things that maybe find themselves in those middle categories of things that you might not be very good at, but you're okay at accomplishing, or maybe the things that you like doing, that you're good at, it identifies really the thing that's missing, which is the things that you love doing that only you can do, the things that you absolutely are the best at, and that's where you should actually be spending all of your time. Now, here's the funny thing. A lot of people spend their time doing the 3 categories that do not actually serve them at the highest level, because it's not their zone of genius, and it actually removes revenue from your pocket. It's literally like someone stealing money out of your pocket and just throwing it on the ground. And you have to take responsibility to actually step into your power and step into the highest value that you provide to the world and do the things that you love. The consequence of doing what you love well is a great financial reward, and you will always be compensated to the level of the problem that you solve. So if you can solve big problems, yet you're spending most of your time doing things like administrative tasks, and you're not an administrative person, you're just robbing yourself of the greatest transformation that you have to offer to the world. So how many of you guys have heard of the 80-20 principle before? 80-20, so like, there's in a lot of different frames, but maybe you should spend 80% of your time doing the things that you love, and 20% of your time maybe doing the things that you have to do, right? Or, you can look at it, there's so many different ways, but let me give you this example. I think you should be doing 80-20 of the 80-20, which is actually 4%. You should only be doing 4% of the things that you're doing right now in your business. That's why it's a zone of genius. It's because it's the top 4% of the things that you're best at in the world. And if you're doing anything other than those 4 things for most of your day, then you're missing the mark, and you're never going to have the revenue that you want. You're never going to have the lifestyle that you want. It is what it is. You have to be committed to the highest version of yourself, because entrepreneurship has already written that script for you and you've already taken it. So the idea is like, you've got to step up. You've got to release things. You've got to outsource things. You've got to, do, delegate, delete. You either need to do it right now, you need to delegate it to somebody else, or delete it. Watch this. You ready? All of this shit you procrastinate with. All of it. And the reason why is because your subconscious mind says, I don't want to do it. All of these things need to go if you want to reach your full potential, 100%, all of them. And here's the funny thing, all of your highest profit activities sit here, all of your lowest sit there. And now, so typically people's first objection is, yeah, well, I don't have the money to outsource all those things. Well, you would if you just spend time doing things you love that you're the effing best at. You guys see what I'm saying? What you love doing and that you're the best at.
I'm best at teaching, making complex ideas simple. I love one-on-one coaching and unlocking the story of people's hearts that are affecting their wellness. Masterminds in small groups and live event seminars, speaking.
Document, don't create. Yeah, 100%. And the content will be the best content you've ever produced. That's what I do with Mike. And it's like the best thing ever. It's so fun. So you just show up and do your thing. Let everything else take care of itself.
That's so easy, and I had to come here to get that.
It's just permission. There you go. Yeah, you got it. You know what to do.
Will I really be the man when it's said and done? Give you everything, what I really owe you on. Think it's easy like a motherfucking hole in one. Make a hit and smack the booth and make another one. I just know I don't wanna be a runner-up. Another nigga who ain't really ever done enough. Pop standing proud, finally out here showing off. Guess you see the kid finally out here growing up. Where I'm from, that love, they ain't showing enough. Where I'm from, tough love, yeah, they showed too much. Hit the scene with the bros, it was 4 of us. I just wanna make the list, talking 4 of us. Up now, so they really can't ignore us. Sit back like damn, I should be gorgeous. Teasing the only way to spoil her.
The personal story is really like the thing. It's the what makes you different, what makes you unique, but really it's also what stories are you telling, and do you have consistency in the stories that you tell, to the point of where it maybe feels exhausting to you. Like, man, I've told this story 100 times. Well, yeah, that means you're doing something right, you know? And so I want to train people who are going to be there today on how to tell the right stories about themselves, about their business, and also about the people that they serve. Because at the end of the day, our customers are the hero of the story, and we want to make sure that we center them on that. And when we can do that effectively, and we can communicate effectively, consistently, that's where we really start to get a massive amount of lift in our brand. I tell a story about like when I was 5 years old and I drowned almost. I mean, it was horrible. Petrified of water. Then my grandmother, who was a war bride from World War II, who moved here, I mean, she carried her grandmother through bombing zones, and her grandmother was paralyzed. So when I was like, "Grandma, I can't swim," she's like, "Suck it up, dude." Just like threw me in the pool. And guess what? At 12 years old, I overcame my greatest fear. I'm not afraid of anything when it comes to business. I hate bugs, but I'm not afraid of anything when it comes to business. Because my DNA was shifted. She gave me the ability to change the freaking story.
What if you don't know what your story is?
Okay, well, there's 2 answers to that. One is, let's do it right now. The second one is, you do know. So, are you ready? We can do it if you want to. Okay. What's one thing that you experienced in your life that you don't want anyone else to ever go through?
Narcissistic abuse.
Okay. What would that bring up for you?
Bring up for me regarding
Life.
how me feel. Self-doubt. Muted. Low worth. Not good enough.
That story will free you, and also a lot of other people who have gone through the same thing, similar thing. Sometimes it's our greatest pain that is actually the greatest gift that we can give to the world. I know it's hard. I'm so sorry that you went through that. because in your life you felt like you were suppressed and you felt like you were in a relationship that was not congruent. You don't have to say names, you don't have to use strong adjectives. Felt like there was this thing. And it reminds me of inside of relationships that you get to this point of where, here you go. Till death do us part. What happens if you're dead inside? Yep. Do you understand there's people who need you? Understand that? Okay.
It's funny because I've been told that my story is too specific, that it won't help enough people.
That's bullshit. Fuck that. No one can take your story from you. That's part of the process. But your testimony and your story, it's the greatest gift. And if I could tell you and fast forward the tape and show you the people's lives who were transformed and changed through that, it'd be worth it. So I want to encourage you, when you go through the process of identifying these things and telling these things, this is what frees you and allows you to step into that powerful version of you. Let's put this motherfucker in the ground.
Amen to that.
It's a new story and it's a gravestone and we move on. Can I give you a hug? Okay.
I'm glad you take a hug.
Love you. Yeah, absolutely. Your power is in your message, guys. Told you, whoever was willing to go vulnerable first. What is that giving y'all permission to do? It's powerful. This is part of the journey because the process of unmuting you is the process of your highest growth. And with everything that we do, we're always committed to the highest version of who we are. One of the highest honors that can ever happen, whether you're a coach, a mentor, a consultant, whatever it is to watch one of the people that you know has great ability. They've had life circumstances that may have prevented them from really being able to step into what they really wanted to do. And they overcame like every single obstacle you can imagine in order to step into their full power and really do what it is that they wanted to do, what they know that they're called to do. And that's exactly like, I'm literally standing in the manifestation of that right now with Dr. Justin Mosley, who is an incredible human being, but he came through Mentor Mind. He was an incredible student. He leaned in, he gave 110%. And at the end of it, he said, listen, man, I really feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. Can you help me? And that to me was just so incredible and such a beautiful reminder of even my calling, what I'm here to do and what I feel called to do. And so right now I'm standing in a 13,000 square foot house in Colorado, knowing that Dr. Justin took that step of faith, that he followed the process, invested in himself, overcame the things he needed to overcome, made a commitment, and now has 15 people at this house with him, and he's coaching them on mindset. That to me, and being asked to be a part of that, is absolutely 100% the greatest honor. So I think the reality is that in everything in life and business, objectivity is the thing that allows us to get over ourselves. Because you could be in a room of 1,000 people right now, and you can see everybody else, but you can't see yourself. And that's what Mentor Mind does, is it allows the right people to come around you and to have an expression to be able to show you who you really are and what you're really capable of. And this for him was an idea 3 years ago, and today It's a reality. Less than 2 months after he completed Mentor Mind. So my question to you is, what is it that you really want to accomplish? Are you in a position right now where you feel like your calling is being impaired by what your obligation is? If so, I want to challenge you to step out. I want to challenge you to go to the next level, to give yourself permission right now to ask yourself the question of, what do I really want? And that deep desire, I believe, can become a reality because I'm watching it happen right now.
That's right.
Much love.
I don't need nothing
Talk
else.
to you guys soon.
Ooh, that's right. I don't need nothing else. That's right. I don't need nothing else.